talk about something which every student looks forward to, and that is financial aid or scholarships. So
Yes,
what kind of opportunities are there at Dayton University?
we do have scholarships for international students. At the undergraduate level, our scholarships are quite generous. It is common for students to earn as $20,000 per year of scholarship and maybe even more, up to $25,000 per year, which is about half of the cost of our tuition. So students can earn up to 50% of a discount for scholarships. And the nice thing about the University of Dayton's scholarship is that they renew annually.
Hi everyone, welcome to the another episode of our Thoughtcast. And today we have Dr. Sky Lance Wagner, the Director of Academic Operations at the University of Dayton. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sky.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
So, to start, can you tell us a bit about your role at the University of Dayton and how you interact with the international students?
Yes, happy to. In my role, I support international students mostly in their transition to life in the United States. So that really starts before arrival with pre-arrival webinars where we connect with students virtually. And then our main event is orientation at the beginning of the semester, where we provide a lot of tips on how to get settled to life in the United States and how to get started off on the right foot. We like to provide a soft landing as much as we can for students just recently arriving to the United States.
That's so great, wonderful. So, let's jump to on our first question. I have a question for you, which is so your work involves overseeing student support services. So, could you give us an insight about how Dayton University ensures international students receive the right academic guidance, especially in their first semester?
Yes, this is such an important part, getting started off on the right foot. And so our office has a very high touch approach to student support. So beyond orientation, we meet with students throughout the semester for one-on-one advising. And beyond that, we provide a series of culture courses or acculturation courses where we teach students about navigating the American higher education system, specifically the system at the University of Dayton. So in our courses, we focus on things like where to go to find help for assignments, how to manage time, how to deal with stress, and some of the things that we know students are going to experience as new international students.
Right, since it's a very stressful semester for them because they are at a new place, totally new place, totally new country, and they need to interact with a lot of people and a lot of new people. So
Correct. Yes, it can be quite overwhelming, and our job is to minimize that as much as possible. We know there will be challenges, and so we're not trying to pretend that we can remove all of the challenges. We just want to empower students to tackle those challenges head on and know where to go to find support when they need it.
that is true, and that's wonderful. So as we all know that internships and work experiences helps a lot, in finding a job after the graduation and all. So how does the University of Dayton helps students with the hands-on experience, in the courses or programs they are studying?
Another great question. One of the University of Dayton's values is experiential learning. So students at the undergraduate level and at the postgraduate level are really encouraged to get hands-on with their major. And so even at the undergraduate level, students work with faculty on research projects. And beyond that, students have access to internships during the summertime and co-ops, which usually count towards the degree requirement. So that might be more likely to do during a semester at the undergraduate level. At the graduate level, there are similar opportunities to work on campus. And, graduate education focuses more on research anyways. Right. And so graduate students will often work as research assistants with their faculty, or maybe even teaching assistants for undergraduate courses. And those are really special opportunities to develop skills and knowledge, and then similar co-ops and internship opportunities for graduate students. So that's one amazing thing about the University of Dayton, is that kind of that experiential learning is built into the culture and
Right.
built into the value system.
Right, so they get a lot of learnings from that.
Correct. In addition to the theoretical knowledge, a lot of applied knowledge as well.
Right, very important, exactly. So STEM courses are very popular among,
Mm,
especially among the Indian students. So, what are some of the STEM, programs that stands out at the University of Dayton? In engineering, data science, and
sure.
business analytics.
Yes, no, thanks
Sorry.
for that. And just to be clear, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
I know that it is a common acronym, but just want to make sure that everyone listening is aware. And at the undergraduate level, we have a wide variety of STEM offerings. Most recently, we've added a Bachelor's of Business Analytics, which is the one STEM designated business degree that we have. And business analytics is growing at such a fast rate. It is certainly kind of the place to be at the moment.
Right.
The industry is growing at over 15% year over year growth rate. And that means the job opportunities in that industry are also growing at a similar rate. At the graduate level, we have STEM opportunities in computer science, in business analytics, also at the master's level. All of our engineering programs, which include aerospace engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, we offer almost all of them, are STEM designated. And recently, we're very excited that our Master's of Business Administration degree has been designated as STEM. So
Right.
students can earn a STEM MBA as long as 50% or more of the courses that they take are considered to be STEM.
Right. So while we're on the topic of STEM, I have a follow-up question. So AI is transforming multiple industries,
Yes.
including, engineering, business, even healthcare. So could you share how Dayton is incorporating AI-driven learning, research, or practical applications to its academic programs?
So important. I know ChatGPT came into existence maybe less than 2 years ago, and it has revolutionized so many industries, and especially higher education, where knowledge is now just ask a question and you have something new that no
Right.
one's ever seen before. So the University of Dayton is embracing artificial intelligence, and we're actually coming up with our very own Flyer GPT. And Flyer is our mascot. And so this new system is going to be launched this spring and will have just a similar style, generative AI for University of Dayton students. I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like. There was only a little teaser about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it said stay tuned for more news about that. But there are working groups right now evaluating official university policies on AI, and just like you mentioned, figuring out the best ways to leverage
Yeah.
AI for the student experience. So we are very much in the spirit of using it as a tool to enhance student learning. I know there are some pitfalls of using it as a shortcut to get around learning, but we work to make it a value add and not a shortcut.
Right. So University of Dayton is preparing students for future.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's just the policy I was mentioning. We also have coursework integrated into some of the degree programs in artificial intelligence. So students, especially in computer science and business analytics, will kind of study the ins and outs of AI. And that includes things like machine learning and deep learning and amazing opportunities there.
Right. So let's talk about something which every student looks forward to, and that is financial aid or scholarships.
Sure. Yes.
So what kind of opportunities are there at Dayton University?
We do have scholarships for international students. And at the undergraduate level, our scholarships are quite generous. It is common for students to earn as $20,000 per year of scholarship, and maybe even more, up to $25,000 per year, which is about half of the cost of our tuition. So students can earn up to 50% of a discount for scholarships. And the nice thing about the University of Dayton's scholarship is that they renew annually. So as long as students are making satisfactory academic progress, their scholarship will renew. And for a $25,000 scholarship, let's say 50%, that's worth $100,000 over 4 years of the bachelor's degree. We also have scholarships at the graduate level, but because our graduate tuition is already quite low and quite competitive, we don't offer as high a percentage of scholarship for graduate students, but it does bring the cost down a bit for graduate students as well.
That is great and very reassuring. So when a student is selecting a university, they look for a lot of things apart from the scholarship and the ranking. They look for the college, the campus life. How's the campus life? How's the state or the area they are going to be in?
Hmm.
So tell us about the campus life of University of Dayton, and how is the classroom culture there?
Yes, so important to balance the academic life with the life outside of the classroom. And University of Dayton has over 270 student clubs and organizations. So there's certainly something for everyone.
Right.
For specifically students from India, we have a very active Indian Student Association. And the leaders of that organization are close friends of our office. And we work together to sponsor events for Holi and Diwali on campus. And beyond that, whatever your passion, we have that. We have students who get together to play cricket. We have students interested in karate, students interested in gaming, in automobile and racing. So there are clubs for all of those things. And we encourage students to connect with new friends and find their passions and engage in their passions. Beyond that, we organize a lot of events throughout the semester, and this is especially for new international students to build that sense of
Right.
community and create that sense of belonging. And we'll take students to different museums, or maybe the zoo or the aquarium. We'll go to the amusement park and ride roller coasters. And those are big events off campus, and we love to do those. We'll also do smaller events for international students where we'll just have a coffee hour and have some prompts on the table, some icebreaker questions, and connect and build community in those small ways. So yes, lots of opportunities to get involved. We have an amazing recreational complex on campus called the Recplex, and there you will find a climbing wall, badminton courts, a gym, a weight room, basketball courts, and that's just right there in the heart of campus and easy for students to get to.
This all sounds so fun. So now moving on to my next question. So since you work so closely with international students from a lot of different countries, and also what's
Mhm.
some of the common misconceptions international students have, when they first arrive at the destination in the US?
Yeah, so I think a lot of what students see on the media affects their perceptions of life in the United States. Maybe they've seen movies about college life with lots of parties and,
Yeah.
and even maybe drinking and the alcohol culture. Sometimes, there's just headlines of violence in schools, and those are certainly tragic and do happen. But I think it's important to know that college life in the United States is more than certainly the headlines, and oftentimes not at all what is depicted in movies or TV shows. And so, there certainly is kind of a party culture
Right.
in colleges, but there are also many students who don't drink and who want just to focus on their studies and making healthy choices and finding students to just, connect with in those ways. So I think more also one misconception is about the curriculum. A lot of students from other countries kind of come to the US expecting to jump right into their major. For example, a computer science student might expect to come and take all computer science students in all computer science courses in the first semester. And that's maybe one of the more common misconceptions, that undergraduate education is more expansive and kind of in the style of liberal education, where students will take courses in English and history and maybe even geography or physics as a computer science student. And so this is part of the design and something that may be a source of frustration, but as students work towards their degree, especially in the third and fourth years, then that's when the schedule becomes more degree specific, and a computer science student would then focus on mostly computer science courses.
Right. And since you are the director of the academic services, which includes interaction with students, as I mentioned earlier as well. So tell us some common mistakes students make while during the application process that they can avoid, and they are very common.
Yeah, so These days, I think the application process is quite smooth, and it's really amazing to have agencies like AECC
Right.
guide students through that process and really smooth the way and pave the way. So we don't see too many issues with admissions. I would just give students advice to explore even beyond what maybe a counseling session would include, and look at a university's website and maybe some other sources of information online, just to kind of get a more firsthand account and
Right.
and really understand where it is they're going. Thinking about what is the best fit. That is something that's so important. And in my mind, I think the best fit includes three categories. The first one is the curriculum. So making sure that any student, undergraduate or postgraduate, is in a degree that really fits their passion and their interest. The second one is location. So making sure that the city profile matches what the student really wants. For example, Dayton is a small city. We only have about 150,000 people in the city and about 800,000 people in the metro area. So our speed of life is just right. It's not too
Right.
fast and not too slow. But for someone who is accustomed to the fast-paced lifestyle, a city like New York or Boston might be more suitable, whereas a city like Dayton might feel a little bit slower. So that's number two. And the third one is cost, just making sure that university choice fits the budget of the student and that it's not stressing, that financial stress doesn't factor into the quality of education.
Right. So while we're on the topic, so there are multiple options students can pick while choosing a university. So
Hmm.
what sets Dayton University apart from all these options?
It's a great question. And one thing that I sets us apart from other institutions is our value. In other words, our tuition is quite low, especially when you consider the scholarships that we were discussing earlier. And the quality of education that students get is extremely high. And this shows up in our career fairs when hundreds of employers will come to recruit University of Dayton students because they know that those students are well prepared, that they've had amazing professional and academic experiences during their degree, and that they're the kind of employees that the recruiters want to hire. And so all of that is really, really amazing. So value, I think, is what sets us apart. And I don't think rankings are the most important consideration, but we are highly ranked, especially our School of Engineering. And overall, we're in the top 135 schools in the country. And so something that we're very proud of,
That is great.
our rankings and our value.
That's absolutely great. And what are some of the flagships or most popular programs at the University of Dayton among the international students?
Yeah, so I've mentioned most of them. Computer science is by far our most popular, and students can choose concentrations in areas like cybersecurity and artificial intelligence and data science, especially at the undergraduate level. Masters of Business Analytics has really exploded onto the scene and is one of the most popular programs we have. The School of Engineering has also some very excellent programs. In the School of Engineering, I would say engineering management is the most popular, training the project managers of the future. Civil engineering, where students can specialize in areas like construction management or environmental engineering. And then probably mechanical engineering would be the third. And there are lots of laboratories where students get really hands-on in all of those areas, but especially civil and mechanical. Some of the laboratories that they have access to are cutting edge and state of the art.
That is correct. So does the Dayton University also have the placement opportunities for students after graduation?
Yes, we do. And in fact, undergraduate computer science placement is 100%. So within 6 months of graduation, everyone is either in a master's program or employed. And so it doesn't get much better than that.
Right, exactly.
And that's true for other high demand programs like business analytics has a 98% placement rate, and MBA, graduate computer science, all of them have extremely high placement rates. So we're very proud of our students who work hard during their degree, work hard to find a job, and then end up with a great job overseas, in the US, I mean.
Right. So that's very reassuring. They are getting the ROI because it's a huge investment studying at a different country in a different, university. Going away from your home, it's a lot of investment for parents in terms of money. It's a lot of
Mm,
investment for students in terms of their time.
yes.
So it's
Yes.
very important to get the ROI, which I think they get from the Dayton of University of Dayton.
Yes, I think that ties into the value that we were mentioning. The return on investment is really high.
Right.
So we love that, and we celebrate students' success that way. And one student in particular who graduated with a master's in computer science is a senior AI and data consultant with Ernst and Young, which is one of the big five consulting companies.
Right.
And he's just one of many success stories that we have coming from the University of Dayton graduates.
That is great. So, Dr. Sky, I have one last question for you. So, finally, what advice would you give to Indian students who are planning to study in 2025 in the US in terms of their mindset or, making the most of out of their university life?
Oh, I love that question. And the advice that I would give to students from India who are planning to come to the US to study is to really just follow your passion, and keep an open mind. Like we've talked a little bit about the Indian education system being different from the American higher education system. And so it takes a little time to get used to the differences. And I think once you get up that learning curve and get over the hump, so to speak, that really having a passion for what you're studying and what you're learning is so important, and that will really, I think, motivate in other areas to connect with professors, to connect with classmates, and getting involved is another thing that I think goes along with following passions. Really finding opportunities to both network and in the classroom in kind of more academic and professional ways, and then also just more socially and building friendships, because really that matters a lot too. And the nice thing about international students at UD is the sense of community that international students from all over the world feel.
Right.
They come from different countries and have different languages they speak at home and maybe different religions that they practice at home. But when they get to University of Dayton, they've all shared this common experience of leaving home, coming to a new place, and navigating life. And so we love that. We want students to kind of connect on that level. And so so friendship matters. It doesn't matter with who, whether it's an American student or an international student. We support that and want to encourage that. So I think those are the three tips that I would give. One, follow your passion to the right place at the right profile. Two, keep an open mind and fight through the challenges that we know are going to be there. And three, get involved in ways that will build friendships and build connections and really provide an unforgettable experience when you look back on college in the United States.
Those are some really good advices. Thank you for sharing. And Dr. Sky, thank you so much for taking your time and coming to our show and sharing all these wonderful insights and details. It was lovely having you here with us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thanks so much for the hospitality. Happy to be here.
All right. Do you want to say something about the university's intake?
Yeah, so I just want to highlight that we have summer intakes available for most of our engineering degrees. Oops, I'll start that one again because of the telephone. So yes, just wanted to highlight that the University of Dayton has summer intakes for the Masters of Business Administration and most Masters of Engineering degrees. And in the fall, we have a full intake for all of the programs. So we are really excited to welcome you to the University of Dayton in the heart of the country. Lots of opportunities, an amazing staff to support you, and an amazing experience to have at our school.
And to our viewers, if you guys have any questions regarding the applications, feel free to reach out to AECC, drop a comment, or visit your nearest AECC branch. Our counselors are always ready to help you. And if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more such podcasts.